What's going on, everybody? Bontagoon here. Today I am going to be going over a few Guildfest tips, and I'm doing it right as Guildfest is about to start. Wait, we're supposed to be in the Expert Gauntlet, not the Intermediate. No, Advanced, I mean. What the heck? We got, what was it, 4th place last time. Well, that's unfortunate. Oh, good. It is fixed. We are finally in the Expert Gauntlet. So the first tip right here is, as you can see, you've got all these. Depending, people are already resetting, and I will get to that in a little bit. Our guild, personally, will reset anything below 115 points. However, here's what I recommend. Things like this right here. Executing prisoners. That really depends on the guild that you're in. If you are in the dominant guild, if you're in a if you don't have high value targets or anything like that, who knows, you might be able to do that, but you might have to go hide off in the corner. This is a new one for us, though. I find it to be highly situational. As for this one, 25 Coliseum battles. This one you have to pay attention to because you have 2 days to do it, which means only 2 Coliseum resets. You can get 3 column resets if you time it correctly when you accept the task. However, that's still 10 unaccounted for, so you're going to have to spend gems to go open the Coliseum, and in any case, it was 2 level point thing for it to matter. So this one right here, this is a trap, and I always reset it. The Guardians are very situational as well, and my gosh, they are just beyond annoying. I've heard of people that have spent over 50,000 gems along with stocked up holy stars and not encountered a single guardian, because I mean, that's all luck. But in any case, guys, with Guildfest, you really you need to go all out, and it's the little details that count. For instance, we have selected some trusted people, which it actually happens to be a whopping 30 this time, who are R4s specifically for Guildfest purposes. They are chosen from ones that are around the world in our kingdom, so there's some in America, some in the UK, I think there might even be one in Australia, but in any case, there's usually someone on to reset quests as they are needed. That way, everything's constantly going. In addition to that, it's good to take your time. You have a while to do it, and I know I make the mistake of taking my time for way too long, and then next thing I know, I'm on the last day panicking because I have 6 attempts left, and I need to personally reach our guild minimum. That being said, there are ones that you can accept, but be careful because there are ones that will trap you a little bit. I'm personally trying to think of the ones. The Hell Event ones can be tedious if you don't do it correctly. However, the really difficult ones, there are ones that you get from building might, and I cannot for the life of me think of the other ones that there are. I might not even get them in this gauntlet. This is our first time in the Expert Gauntlet, so I'm not entirely sure. I'm super excited, though. Like, that's going to be pretty awesome. Also, if you're in a lower spending guild, one that doesn't spend too often, and you see a bunch of the purchase pack ones show up in your guild, maybe you delete all but 1 or 2, because personally, if I see too many duplicates of the same thing, I remove it. Also, in addition to that, there's ones for clearing entire level 5 tiles. My guild personally can't do that because we've got her right here. Because we've tried gathering from some of the level 5 resource tiles, she personally showed up and started burning the hive as she can. Let's see what she's going for right here. She's trying to take that one over, and then she's probably going to try and hit me. I'm just trying to see if she will try and do something, so I went ahead and did that. But as you can see, we don't really have tiles over here because they keep trying to hit them because they're the ruling guild, and the ruling guild tends to think that they're the only ones entitled to the levels 5 resource fields, which, I mean, not necessarily anything against that mindset. If you are the ruling guild, you want the best stuff. And I mean, I'm not going to argue with that logic. But you have to pay attention, because there are ones that are always situational to your guild. I personally, the training troops one, I get rid of all of them. I think that they are way too much for the amount of points that you get. In addition to that, the wounded troops ones I also get rid of. All of them. I never think they're worth it. The ones that I see the highest yield of are the Hell and Solo event ones, and then the Turf Quest ones, and then the Purchase Pack ones. And that's where I see a lot of the good stuff come from. That being said, things to try and do to prepare for Guildfest, obviously. Save up on some guild coins. I don't have as many as I would like. I like to usually have 1 million before Guildfest starts, but I wasn't able to do that this time. Also, save up on gems. If you plan on spending gems, this is a pretty good time to do it. In addition to that, save up on Holy Stars, because, I mean, you never know. If you can get your hands on enough and you have a good fallback of gems to go back on, you could probably hit a Guardian. It's not impossible to do. But the biggest thing that I say is hold on to Turf Quests. Because right here, any of these two are going to instantly grant me a Turf Quest task complete. And then that's one of my tasks completely done, and it'll take me a matter of seconds to open up this menu and hit collect. I don't have to worry about completing the quest or anything to do that. These don't expire. So always have at least 150k might worth of Turf Quests ready to go for around the time that Guildfest starts. In addition to that, you should definitely have some admin scrolls and guild scrolls. I would have at least 25 of each. As you can see, I've accumulated a lot more of the admin ones. You can get these through guild gifts and things like that. It's pretty easy to get. Save up on some energy for some monsters, because there's good hit monster ones. Oh, my energy is full. I need to drop that. And then if you have some catching up to do in the Coliseum, then the Coliseum ones can be good. Cargo ship ones are very easy. Personally, whenever I get those, I just go ahead and collect all 4 of the cargo reward ones in one go, every time. And proportionally speaking, the losses aren't really too bad. Like right here, you're going to lose 1.2 million gold to get some ore, and that might not seem worth it in the short term. However, in the long term, I think that it'll help you out just fine, because tomorrow in the cargo ship you might see some ore for gold, and it'll just add up. Like, you come out with more resources proportionally than you start with, and with gold it doesn't always necessarily look like that. I'm gonna go ahead and take that for sure, but it is like, that's just fact. In addition to that, make sure that your guild has a bank, and prepare to do some of the like resource transporting ones, and transfer back and forth between the bank. If it's like supply ore or supply gold or anything, if you have an active bank, then they probably have all the resources that you're going to need, and then you can just do that back and forth and sacrifice just a small handful of resources from the taxes to complete a quest within a matter of minutes. It's all pretty simple stuff. The main thing is that you just need to prepare a little bit ahead of time. And this advice may not be all that helpful for this Guildfest, but if you keep on it and use it to prepare for the next Guildfest, like start preparing for next Guildfest once this Guildfest ends. The day that ends, start collecting guild coins, start collecting gems, start collecting everything that you need for next Guildfest right then and there. And then when next Guildfest rolls around, you're not going to have any problem meeting minimums, which, by the way, you should have in your guild. Our minimum currently is 1,200, and that's because we are in the Expert Gauntlet. It's decently high because we have 10 attempts, including the 1K gem attempt. So 1200 is not difficult. It's really not at all. So it could be less for people that are in lower tiers and things like that. I know one of my sister guilds requires 700, and that's perfectly fine. Like, they placed right in the middle of the advanced gauntlet. Nothing wrong with that. So just make sure that your people try and keep up with their minimums. I don't personally recommend kicking people if they don't meet the minimums. Temporary booting doesn't work because when they come back, they can still collect the gifts. All they don't get are the little rewards that you would get if you were in the top 5, if you even made it into the top 5. But in addition to that, I would offer incentives like rewards to the top person or the top 5, whichever you would prefer. That way people were really working and trying to get to that top thing. But in any case, guys, those are the tips that I go off of as leader of FNN. So take them as you want them. I know I've covered some of them in previous videos, but it's always good to, refresh. But until the next video, guys. Bye.